Holy Snikes. What's up, family? All right, so I'm super excited at the end of this long, marvelous, productive day to get to bring you a little snippet, a little taste of the Obsidian Soul Lounge. This was kind of like a metaphysical mastery class, self mastery at that we've been joining. So I want to introduce you to a good brother, a man who has traveled this world, who has been doing some amazing things. I want to take the opportunity to connect. So I'm going to invite him on. And let me see if I can go ahead and request that you join the live. I'm going to add you as a moderator, pal. And I would like to invite you to be on here. Can you request? There's the request. Excellent. Our cameras. And so for those of you who are joining right now in this lovely now moment, I'm waiting for my brother Juan to come on. Juan, you in the house?
What's going on, Ezra? How you doing,
Good,
buddy?
my man. Is it possible for you to adjust your camera so that we can see more of your face too? You'll tilt it down
There
lower.
you go.
Perfect though. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you good.
Excellent. So one, I want to just thank you for making the time to come on here. I'm going to give you a moment to introduce yourself and your modality, and I also want to share with you and the rest of the family kind of what we got going on here, because I have a feeling you and I are going to be doing a lot of work together. I've also invited my brother Source, he's in Florida, I believe, right now, another amazing master healer who's healed himself with 180 days left, supposedly with cancer. So we're going to talk to some of the unique, magical things that have gone on. And the podcast, the gathering that we'll do, which people will have to, sign in for at some point, is going to be called and is called the Obsidian Soul Lounge. So we'll be able to do some live events together here and also an online event where people can join into a Zoom and get to know and dive into some of this metaphysical mastery where we can share and demystify a lot of what confuses a lot of people and even turns them away from getting to know the unseen aspects of how powerful they are as human beings, some of the healing modalities that are out there, which I'm excited for you to share about your journey, how they can access us, and why is that important for them to know right now. So today we get to get into some of the things that you deal with specifically, right? Navigating with folks who are dealing with anxiety, stress, who've been dealing with chronic illness and haven't been able to find ways to do the healing. And I think they'd be shocked and surprised to know some of the things that are there right underneath their nose, right underneath their Instagram. So let me fix my camera. Can you see me fully?
I
Okay, on your end?
see you good.
Good. And without further ado, this is the Obsidian Soul Lounge. Sometimes it's free, sometimes y'all pay a fee. Tonight you get a taste. Goutier. I love to introduce you all to Juan Jimenez. My brother, can you share about yourself, your journey, where you're from? Give the intro, and then we'll dive in, and I'll be inquiring a lot more as we proceed.
Thank you so much for the invite. First of all, I just want to say this is great that you're doing this and helping people get introduced to your healing modalities and having other people come on and share their experiences and what they have to offer. So I'm originally from Colombia, lived in Canada for several years. Many years ago, I started the healing journey myself. I used to be a bodybuilder. I used to train a lot, had an injury. It was a back injury. Doing a squat. Somebody hit the barbell on the side with 500 pounds, and it really messed up my back. So I tried conventional ways, physio, chiro, a lot of stuff. Did minimal work, didn't work too good. And then a friend of mine said, "Hey, you gotta go see this martial artist healer, this Vietnamese guy. He does acupressure, but it's different from traditional Chinese medicine, and he just heals everybody. This guy's amazing." So I went to see him, and after the first session, he did more than in 2 hours. He did more than uh, dozens and dozens of sessions in chiropractic and physio and other stuff, acupuncture and so on. So I was pretty impressed. So I told him, "Hey, I'd love to learn your technique." So I became friends with him. I started going over to his place, and I was fascinated to see that people that were coming to visit him were just totally messed up, like fibromyalgia, multiple sclerosis, chronic illness, depression, osteoarthritis, osteopenia, osteoporosis, just muscle pain, injuries, hernias, and even kidney failure, things like that. So I started just watching him multiple times a day, many hours, and then I started working on his clients. I started working on him. And then after a couple of years, he said, hey, you mastered the technique. You could go on your own and travel and help some people. So I left Canada, went to a few places like Spain, France. I was in the Mediterranean, Croatia. Then I went to Colombia. I was in Thailand for a couple of
Wow.
years. And his technique was mainly acupressure and paedalagin, which is a vibrational technique with a paddle where you're able to find a blockage. These blockages are, for instance, if you're a gardener and you're gardening your flowers and there's a rock in the hose, the water is squirting and it's barely coming out. But as soon as you get the rock outside of the hose, the water is going to flow again. And this happens to the arteries and the veins and the blood vessels. Not only that, but in our nervous system, in the nerves, in the axons, things get blocked. And this is also emotionally and psychologically in many cases where trauma gets stuck in the body, gets stuck in a certain place. And we live with that. Some people live with anger. Some people live with sadness. Some people with anguish. Some people will live with frustration. And it somatizes. You can actually a lot of times find these blockages, whether physical or non-physical, that actually become physical and turn into some sort of like rubbery ball, like a pebble, like a gummy bears type of feel.
Wow.
And a lot of them sometimes become really hard, and that's what becomes a tumor and turns into cancer.
So I may interject here and there just for some questions because I'm also taking notes. So if you could once, and I haven't lost a beat because I'm intently paying attention. And the word that he said was somatize, which means, right, for things to actually take a physical form. So I may speak to, because I kind of know the audience a little bit, and I haven't been sharing so much of this super like focused on the healing side, and I do have some studies behind me as well. So I may interject to get a clarity on the word and repeat it.
Please do so, no problem.
Because it's important. And also, can you re-say again the name of the modality that this gentleman taught?
Yes,
I want to write it down.
it was just acupressure, and he would just call it that way. But it's not the acupressure that people know from traditional Chinese medicine that goes through the traditional meridian points and the energy points of the body. And it's quite different. It comes from martial arts. He learned it from his dad, and he's a kung fu master, and he taught it to me, which is great because I've been doing martial arts since I was a kid, from a variety of karate, hapkido, Muay Thai, kickboxing, boxing, and Congo Do. So I had that background. That's why it was easy for me to kind of learn it from him. Plus, a lot of anatomy and physiology and stuff like that from school. And when these blockages somatize, that's what causes illness. That's what causes disease. That's what causes the lack of flow of energy, which decreases,
right?
Yeah, your vital force, your life force, and it decreases energy in the body, decreases blood flow, and it decreases oxygen, amino acids, carbohydrates, glucose, obviously, which is our main energy source, fatty acids into the area. So it just becomes stiff, becomes rigid. And the whole philosophy about him that I learned is stiffness and rigidness is the first sign that something bad is going to happen.
Wow. So
as soon as someone starts to turn stiff and it starts to turn rigid in a joint or somewhere in the body, that's the first sign that something down the road is going to happen in that area.
And so
if you look at
I'm going to repeat some of these things for the people just to hammer it in.
Right.
Because when you say this, all of a sudden I think of rigor mortis, right?
Yes.
And that's kind of what's happening, but I never really thought of it as like an early onset symptom, because that's really what it is, isn't it?
Exactly.
So it's stiffness and rigidity in the joint. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah. So in some cases they feel like it's like gummy bears, pebbles, little rocks, rubber, and with time, when you go for a regular massage, it's mainly like relaxation or shiatsu or stuff. Some modalities, even sports massage, is great. It relaxes, increases blood flow, increases flexibility for the time being, but it doesn't really get rid of the blockage. To get rid of the blockage, acupressure is very powerful, and it's a very rapid, very fast, quick and strong, intermittent pop, 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 pop. I call it like the kung fu of acupressure, because the regular acupressure the Chinese do is just pressing on the point, holding it 2-3 seconds and moving down the meridian points. This one's like attacking the
So
area very
you're really
rapidly with the
like
thumb.
kind of Jeet Kudoing that thing,
Yeah,
right?
this
Like,
way with the thumb, this way, almost like a strike
right?
with the knuckles,
With the knuckles.
using the forearm
Wow.
and the elbow.
I can't wait to get my ass kicked by you tomorrow.
You got
or the next day
brother.
in
Yeah,
that
no,
way.
it'll be great.
And so what I'm also receiving from this is a lot of people, we go and get massage. You sit with the massage therapy, they work through the knot, but they don't, it's not being moved all the way through.
No,
And also,
a lot of these knots are just muscular and they can get rid of through massage therapy, which is great. But a lot of these knots turn into scar tissue. So scar tissue is almost like a dead muscle. The scar tissue is just an area of the muscle that is got knotted up so much over time that the blood vessels there are not conveying proper oxygen and nutrients and blood flow. So it becomes really stiff, really hard, and it's very common in the trapezius area and in the neck, where it causes lack of oxygen and blood flow, and that's how we get a lot of people having migraines. A lot of
so
neck pain, a lot of shoulder pain is from blockages in the traps that is from stress or heavy weight training or sports and stuff like that, or being on a desk all day. And it feels really hard. The muscle should be soft. The muscle should be nice and soft, and it should only be hard upon contraction. Okay?
Can I ask you a question then in that regard? So, okay, so we know how the ideal muscle can be. We know that people sit, myself included, sit and start to take on these rigid positions that solidify over time and stop the flow. Is this something that can be remedied at any point in a person's life?
Yes.
Yes.
Any point.
And
Yeah.
I know that people think, oh, I've been stuck, I have this soreness. So I'm big into regenerative therapy. We're going to start to do some things with guys in the military as well, if they're so open to it. So I'm excited for the work that we get to do together because I'm wanting to bring the folks in.
Perfect.
But people think it's too late. So it's really great to know that there are modalities that you can receive at any point in your life journey, assuming you don't have, I would think a counterindication would be like, osteoporosis, but then maybe that's not even an issue. So you need a strong structure, I'm sure, to be able to receive this therapy.
I had people with, I had one client with decades of osteoporosis, even was so bad that couldn't even walk past 10 feet.
Wow.
And it did take 6 months, 3 times a week, but this osteoporosis is pretty much gone. There's just a few percentage left. We were able to revive the tissue and the bones with pivellagin, which is a slapping technique that it vibrates down the 3 layers of the skin, past the fat, past muscle tissue, down to the bone, to really pull out the toxins that are stuck in the bone. What really is osteoporosis, osteopenia, and sickness of the bone? A lot of times it's degeneration, sometimes it's genetic, and sometimes it's just those plus an accumulation of heavy metals, mercury, lead, arsenic, barium, a bunch of stuff that gets stuck in the bones, and also plastics, stuff that's in the food, that make it last longer, chemicals, things that we breathe in the environment. Things get stuck in our bones over time, and it decays them. So there's techniques to be able to get down to the bone and pull them out so people are able to gain their mobility again.
I saw in your user cases that, the photos that you shared with me, I can see, wow, a lot of cupping, which draws out. And I also saw that you work with some herbs and things too. Source also creates herbs. So what I'm looking to do is help people in the space of identifying degeneration, getting to start to create that circulation, having spaces to then do the neural repatterning by different activities. It's mostly what I do in my retreats under the guise of, hey, let's go surfing. Hey, let's do this. But I'm aware of the deeper layers, especially me as one who works with some of these plant medicines as well.
Perfect.
But understanding the science of what's going on in the body, so to say. But what I love here is that what you're doing is actually non-invasive, because we know the human body is hermetically sealed, so to say. And when we break that seal, sure, we have other layers of the body that exist, but it's really nice to keep the original body sealed. So it's a really special thing to have a modality that's working with life force energy that can be delivered to someone at any age. Because some old people, they're worried about getting a new surgery. There's a lot of risks as well. So to be able to give something so unassuming as the word acupressure, maybe you won't call it kung fu to them, but maybe they want to experience it. And to be able to deliver that over a long term as well, a short long term, and still get the same kind of results, probably better results than we're getting in conventional medicine. I feel like
Absolutely.
it's amazing. So when I saw you and learn a little bit about your story, I could see you, you know, and so I'm really, like I said, I'm really happy to have you here now,
Thank
because
you,
I'm
brother.
also like let's go. Like I'm gonna complete one component, and I feel you bring something to the puzzle of Tulum, and you're a
Totally.
serious man. I'm a serious man. There's a lot of people that fuck around here, in truth, you know, and it's
Mhm.
okay. That's their role. But I'm ready to play my role in the seriousness and still have fun by bringing the healing that people are needing now. They needed yesterday, and they're sure as heck going to be needing tomorrow. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah, no, the cupping, like you said,
mhm.
is a method that I use that I do a little bit different than what most people are used to, where you put the cup and you leave it on for 15, 20 minutes.
Mhm.
I actually use it for about 15 to 35 seconds. I put the cup
Fast.
and I put in an angle and I slide up and down
Okay. Okay.
where the area the blockages are, where I feel these rocks, these pebbles, these
Wow.
gummy bears, this kind of rubbery stuff, and I get them to pull out to the surface. And as immediately as I pull them out, I take the cup out and I get into boom, 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 acupressure to
Okay.
really break it up even more, bring in oxygen so it properly gets rid of everything.
Mhm.
I get the person to have chlorophyll and spirulina during the session where
Oh,
they get thirsty. So now
amazing.
they're fully excrete these chemicals out of the body. And then I put them in the sauna for another 10 minutes after the session so they're able to excrete everything through the skin so it doesn't stay
This
in.
is epic. And so in the space of Asana, I mean, we have Temescal, we have other things. So I mean, we'll get some things going at the spa, but
Yeah.
then I also want to have, you know, space for people to go and take a deep journey. I know how to create, say, a sauna above ground, or to create some kind of steam experience as well, because that was part of my initiation in Gabon. So of course I paid keen attention, and I look forward to doing these things with the men as part of an initiation. But like one of the things that you mentioned is, and I'm paying attention to, is how you work with the tissue afterwards, right? To move scar tissue, to move these things that are stagnant. Have you dealt with also, and I feel maybe you have, but like folks with broken bones, you know, when the foot
Nice.
swells up and they put them in a cast, I know from an interesting experience that actually that's not what you want to do. You want to get to working things,
Yes,
right? You want to actually
totally.
massage. So I've been able to heal broken bones at a rapid rate, and even witnessed this with one of my ex-wives, where we massage the
Wow.
swelling in the tissue. And so in doing that, she healed, I want to say 5 times as fast. And I've had that experience with myself, being able to heal body parts like that. And so I
Incredible.
know that your modality is probably amazing for that. Have you had any use cases in that way?
Lots of
Hmm.
fractures, and it kind of depends on the severity. Sometimes you gotta give it time and rest and let it just be still. But some fractures, if you're actually working around the areas near it, and you allow for the areas that weren't really that damaged at the microscopic level, like the venules, the arterioles, which are the small little veins, the small little arteries in the area, and you're able to increase flow and put some really healing herbs, turmeric and stuff like that to fully absorb. It heals a ton. And then a huge aspect of that is also the nutrition. The people that are having these fractures and these issues, the nutrition, the hydration, and whatever they're having to transport the right nutrients to the area to heal faster is very important. But the healing modalities around that is good. And then prior to that, you mentioned like the scar tissue.
Yeah.
Washa is really great for that.
How do you
You
say
know,
it?
use washa. Yeah. So
Watch.
washa is basically just using a knife
Uh,
or different techniques. Like
oh,
in
kind of
North
on the
America,
back there.
they call it Graston
Hmm.
technique, Graston, Graston. But for decades, it's been called really washa. That's what it is. So I love washa because it's so powerful. I've helped people with years of pain and discomfort get rid of it in one session. You know.
Wow.
So it's just scraping through the area and pulling out the toxins and the scar tissue. So it comes to the surface, and it looks crazy. It looks like from a scale of 1 to 10, if you ask the client, 1 being no pain at all and 10 being extremely painful, visually it looks like a 10 because of everything coming out. But I do it in a way that the pain is like a 2 or 3, so
Amazing.
they can really handle it for the 30, 15, 45 minutes that it needs to come out. And then I put them in the sauna so it really sweats out whatever is in
Mhm.
there, dry them out, and then acupressure for a few minutes, so then it's perfect.
So you do a really amazing full body flush, because
Yeah, it's a
well, what
flush.
I'm aware of is like a lot of times people move things in the organs, but they forget the top organ, the big organ of the skin, and so not being able to move, you know, things out of the skin is an issue. Aloha to everyone who's hopped on. I'm having, a great conversation. This is the inaugural, and we're doing it live, the beginning of the Obsidian Soul Lounge. And so, Simi, can you hear? The flush is through the skin. So we're speaking to being able to remove toxins. I'm just responding to some of the people in the crowd as well. And so we start a process of removing toxins. Say we go for a massage, or we have, some other kind of movement done in the body, but we're wanting to move things throughout all the organs until it's exited the body. And so what my brother is speaking to, Juan is speaking to, is having the modality that he does, and then on the outset of it, then being able to put someone within a sauna so they can sweat everything out, boom, boom, right there. So can you share a little bit about the upcoming
There's
workshops?
been sessions that are being very powerful. They're actually going to sauna with the client. In
Mm-hmm.
Thailand, there's so many wonderful spas and clients with big saunas that I will go in, and we bring the massage table in the sauna, and I will just work in it with them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very powerful because I'm doing the acupressure in the heat. That infrared penetrating heat through the tissues is helping sweat and pull out the toxins while I'm working on it. So it's like instant healing. It's very, very powerful. And the perspiration with the techniques of the Paidalgin, which is the slapping technique with the vibration, the washa, which is the scraping, and the acupressure, which is very intermittent, rapid tapping. It just pulls out anything that's stuck in there, and it was supposed to turn into some sort of tumor or blockage that could develop into maybe arthritis, osteoarthritis. Even I had client this Russian guy, when I first see him in his house, he couldn't even open the door. His wife had to. He was in a wheelchair, and young guy too, 37 years old, and had fibromyalgia, but it wasn't really fibromyalgia. The doctor said that it was just a label. What I saw in him was an incredibly massive amount of toxins that his body took over. And when I found out his diet was, it was just Coca-Cola, Pepsi, pop,
Oh
potato
man, so
chips
he's
his whole life,
really
burgers,
acidic, corrosive,
extremely
and the body's
corrosive and
so
acidic.
amazing. We look at these things that accumulate. Some of you guys know I've dealt with cancer a couple times, right? And so what I can do is thank my body, because what the body does is tend to encapsulate things if it's not being getting rid of, and it creates a little bubble for the other thing for us to become aware of it, hopefully. And if that doesn't happen, then of course things become catastrophic. So we have the opportunity here in Tulum where people are coming to escape so-called systems, where many people, I'm looking around, you see, folks will be coming here. And so what's important for me is to have a space for them to land under the guise of a retreat or a space to rebuild. If you look at my Instagram, it says, hey, rebuilding men and women, right? Because both of us do work with women, even though I'm currently saying I only work with the
Yeah,
men,
no,
but
I do a
depending
lot
on
of
who
work with
comes to
women
me,
as well, especially on
yeah.
blockages and stuff that cause trauma, emotional trauma in the body and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And it's great that you're saying that about Tulum, because I only been here for 3 weeks, and it's very similar to Thailand, where people are coming here for healing modalities. They wanna find people like us where they can feel safe in our energy, they can feel safe in our space, they can open up and be like, hey, you know what? If I don't really want to talk about this, but I have someone that has the experience of working with tons of people that can find what's really just slowing them down, either physically, emotionally, or mentally, and just get it out, then we can help with that, right? So this is a great place for people to reach out and find this, because they don't have to go all the way to Asia. It's just right here, right?
Right here, I lived in Thailand as well, and so I spent the time out there. That's where I began to learn a little bit of Reiki and getting into Qigong, and also just taking the time to heal and visit the temples. And so I love Thailand, but it's so far away, man.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful
And
place.
Bali is far away, Malaysia is far away, but I'm grateful that we've had the time, the opportunity to visit these places and bring back a certain activation. And Tulum is that on this side. Mexico, in and of itself, is a space for the dreamers and for healing. And then, I have Caribbean heritage. You're closer to Colombia as well. So it's really nice for us to be in this space and then to get to collaborate together and to create, real moments of healing for people, because a lot of the folks who are navigating some gross sickness and who have been, in Europe, they do more to take care of the people. But in the USA, it's different. So we're close to, and we're in a funnel, a literal vortex where people come, they're coming for fun, They're coming to kick it, but they're coming for a healing.
Exactly.
And even when they party, they receive the healing. But those who are more conscious and aware, we're going to create a nice landing pad for them because we're fun men as well. So it's not like
Yeah.
we're not like 70-year-olds, at least visually, right? But I know we've been through some shit. So it's nice to have youth and vigor within these bodies, and then to have some modalities, between the two of us and between us and the other men that I know here and women. And so I'm gonna, I'm kind of running point, trying to set things up because I've been here for a minute, but I've been preparing for that the whole time that I've
Perfect.
been here. So this is why I'm so happy to have you here, and excited that you're planning to stay. And even if you take it on the road, you got a brother here, and I'll
Yeah,
continue
of
to
course.
support.
No, it's been great to meet you guys at the mentorship group, and
Thank
having
you.
that support and be able to just talk through our experiences and have just a great group of guys where you can raise your vibration, your energy, your frequency, and be able to talk about so many things that you were able to talk anywhere else. And
Thank
when you're
you.
talking about people coming here for many reasons, whether it was partying or detox or cleansing or whatever, I want to bring up an amazing therapy that's called Chinyai Tseng,
Can you
and it's
spell
originally
it
from the
by
northern
chance?
Thailand. Yeah, it's spelled CHI
I.
space NEI Ni Sen TSANG.
Okay.
Is basically an abdominal
Mm.
massage, but it really isn't. Is trying to find areas in the abdomen, in the spleen, in the intestines, in the kidneys, in the liver, prostate, stuff like that, where there's in that area we store so much trauma from childhood
So true.
into adolescence, adulthood. It gets stored there so bad. Like anger, for example, gets stuck in the kidneys. People having kidney stones and it doesn't go away. Kidney stones come back and kidney come back. Had somebody else with kidney failure,
Mhm.
87% kidney failure that went up to 93% that were going to lose their kidneys. And the family reached out to me. It took 3 months, but then with special techniques, we brought the kidneys down to full capacity working again. So things like that are possible without surgery,
Mhm.
and just taking the person through a proper cleanse and the acupressure to bring the kidneys back to function. Things like in the Tao. In the Tao, we have different oral elements. The water elements with the kidneys,
Mhm.
metal with the
Right.
spleen, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
All these things are really integrated in a way where emotions like sadness, anguish,
Mhm.
depression can get stuck in different parts in the liver. What's going on there? In the intestines, what's going on there? Is the person having regular bowel syndrome? Like, is these things are things moving through the bowels properly? I worked in a girl yesterday from Argentina that came here to party and had a good time, but she's like, hey, I have a lot of stuff from childhood, and I never had proper bowel movement. I'm always like 5 days, 6 days without going to a bathroom,
Damn.
and that's a long time. We should be
That's a
going
long time,
twice a
brother.
day at least.
Yeah.
And
You should be doing 3 times a day.
yeah, so I
That's regular.
worked through the midsection and stuff, and then she had an emotional release. When I found it, it was right on the spleen. We got on the spleen, and there was a big ball, big rock, and also on the transverse intestine. There was a lot of crying, a lot of emotional stuff going on, but we found it, we decreased it, we got rid of it. And then she texted me this morning saying that she's gone to a bathroom more than she has in the last 6 months. So that was
I want to
powerful, right?
I want to thank you, and so I want to also explain to those of you watching why I'm smiling so much. Is because I know it's like I'm seeing what's coming our way and the healings that there are for people, and there are things that folks are trying to attain in. Okay, here's one thing I know. Sometimes I'm blocked financially. Things get slow, right? Then I go and get a massage, or I get some energy work done, and all of a sudden things start flowing. And I know why. It's because there's energy centers. There's a flow in my life force that's showing itself outside. And so we have people who have been unable to have babies. We have women who've had irregular cycles, hormonal aberrations. Again, you mentioned the fibromyalgia,
Mm-hmm.
fibroid cyst. So I've also had the experience of getting to work with people, no touch, energy work, and actually being able to press on something and move things, and then watch that release, and then see the shift in their life, and be paying attention over a long term time, so that you then can draw a correlation, and it's known, right? There are people who know who maybe don't speak. And so this is a great opportunity for people to be able to come to connect, to shift, to pay attention to the integration of the shift and to come into a different way of living if they follow the instructions given afterwards, and really tend to themselves and start to open up a new relationship with their bodies.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and so this is, and I know I can feel also within you the safety. You see, there are a lot of people who don't trust folks in the spiritual spaces, and for good reason, because they haven't spent time working on their character, and
Right.
so dealing with, say, visiting their dark sides or dealing with things that have been repressed. And of course, we all have work to do, but I feel that I've really, and I see, and I can tell in a man when they've really spent time working on those aspects, and they're really about the purity of the work. I really, all I want to do is this work, service, rest, I serve, but now I found ways to tie people into and create experiences of healing that are tied to the things that I love to do.
Beautiful.
So my energy's perpetual, and then I'm just gonna, remove certain things that hook my energy, and then now seek to practice the arts again, so that I can unblock, you know.
Perfect.
And these are the spaces that we're going to get to create for people that are palatable, that are digestible. We can explain and distill what's going on as far as they need to know, and be an alternative to the medical systems, that not to, because we need both sometimes. So I'm not knocking them, but also it's nice to have a reliable alternative option to look into and to try, that isn't invasive,
Yeah, no,
you know,
absolutely. We need
because we
both.
can
We
do
need
both.
both, and it's one of those
Yeah.
things where it's important to have, you know, options as well. Like I told you, pictures that I sent you, the guy that they say, hey, in 2 weeks we're gonna amputate your legs. There was
Yep.
no blood flow. He lost all his toenails, and when his family came to me, I was like, hey, I don't really know if I can help him because he's already far too gone, and his legs were black, Caucasian
Yeah.
male legs completely black, no circulation, but we were able to get the legs back to proper color, fully white within a week, just like
Within a week.
hardcore acupressure. Yeah,
So so it's important to honor and rethink the way that we look at tissue
exactly,
and the body's ability to heal. Once
exactly,
you start seeing these miracles, you realize they're not miracles. We've just been lied to,
exactly.
lied to
It's
about
just
this stuff.
bringing ancestral healing to modern era that it doesn't need a pill sometimes. It doesn't need a surgery and a knife. You can
Yep.
actually just have someone that knows what they're doing, powerful hands, and
Yeah.
put in the work. Because this guy, yeah, it was in a week, but I was working on him 6 hours a day, 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours
Wow.
in the afternoon. He was my only client that week, and I focused on him. And I added sound frequencies, sound healing. I also added Reiki, positive energy, just healing energy. And his legs were amazing. They healed up pretty quick.
Amazing, man. So imagine, getting to double up. So I'd like to consider myself a student and supporter.
Thank
If
you.
possible, I'm really, it's really important for me to create spaces for these type of healings. So you see, I don't fuck around,
And I'm
so to
learning
say.
from you
I'm like,
too.
let's get it.
There's so many
Yeah.
stuff to learn. I don't say I never said that I know everything. I'm a student of the craft and a student of guys like you and other healers that have so many amazing things to teach and to learn from. And as we can exchange our energies and our knowledge, we just become better, more proficient, and we can help more people.
Absolutely. So I wanna thank everyone that's had the opportunity to come on. Stacy, Raj, we got Carlo, Sneaky B 69. Should I have said your name out loud? Justin B, King Keisha. What's up? Lena, Aloha Kiyoshi, Sammy, and Floor. So, again, here's what's coming your way, family of Tulum. My brother will be doing some gatherings and some things in the space that we call the Vortex Vitality Clinic. All right. I myself will be stepping away and out of that old position. I think I need to focus more on the things with the men's work, and also being a liaison for bringing people into not just that space, but other spaces. There's a deeper depth that I want to go into. And so, of course, I'll still be connected in a way, but I think this is time for me to be a student, for me to get back into my martial arts, to focus on one-on-one masterminds with the men, and then to prepare myself and my vessel for the deeper ceremonies and the deeper work that's coming. And so then I'm gonna more exclusively get with creating the workshops, sharing the knowledge, you know, creating spaces for people to learn, to practice, to get the fundamentals so that they can practice themselves, and to distill and demystify the things that have been confusing people about the systems that they're in, right? So there's a disillusionment, but it can be done gently and with a plan of action moving forward. For both of the work that we do, we can help a person have that miracle, but also the real miracle is being able to shift behavior, increase you, brother, increase you, to shift your behavior and have a plan of action moving forward. So it may look like us in a men's group, it may look like workshops, it may look like, deep healing sessions and support, tag teaming, retreats, gatherings, but altogether, it's just really allowing people to get in touch with themselves, to help in the flow and the removal of blockages so that we can just naturally come into the lovely longevity that comes with our perpetual health when it's aligned, and then to educate folks and have fun. Still, I think this is going to be fun because we got cool people.
It's a lot of
Not
fun.
like a
It's a
bunch of
lot of
dudes with
fun. Healing
attitude.
wellness is
Good times.
is one of the major industries now in the world. It's grown so much in the last 5 years. It's incredible, and there's so much to do here in Tulum. I see there's so much room. I mean, the states are just right up here. Canada, there's so many people that can be helped that are looking for a place where, hey, they tried medicine, they tried the pills, they tried surgeries, and they're like, they're about to give up, or the other people know, hey, I know a friend or a family member, and they had so many issues. Who can help them? Well, we'll find the blockage, we'll get rid of them, and we'll help these people. So
That's
come down
it.
to
So it's
Tulum,
like,
talk
let's
to
hear
you,
it.
talk to us, and we can help them out.
I look forward to some of you guys coming down. Again, this is the Obsidian Soul Lounge. So this is like a short build, okay? And I'll do this with each of the healers that I know, and from time to time we'll jump on just so that you guys can get a feel energetically for us, for our intention, for maybe some new things that you might want to learn. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll find a way to save this and put this on YouTube as well. And I'll share, a post so that we have that on our YouTubes. And then people can go back and listen and ask questions and have some things to bring as they step into the space with us. Your Instagram, could you share the name of that Instagram and also maybe an email or how
Yeah,
you want
thank you. It's
people to connect with you?
Tulum.bodywork.
Okay.
I gotta put
And
a
so,
lot more info in there and stuff
yeah,
of all the videos and pictures that I have. I'll start working on that tomorrow. But just on that one, people can
yeah,
contact us, and we can help them out whatever we can with their fitness, their health, their wellness, their blockages, conditions, illnesses. Just come talk
amazing.
to us.
We got it. It's all here, and so I feel fortunate to be in a space where I can do the learning, I can do the studying, we can share the information, we can invite you to have a good time, bust a little rhyme, and then get nice with your life as we move forward. So,
That's it.
so, brother, and this is Ezria family. Thank you for tuning in. There'll be more, so pay attention. We will do a deeper build, getting into some of the deeper aspects of this work that we're doing within a Zoom, right? And we call it the Obsidian Soul Lounge. So we'll have the welcome to the Obsidian Soul Lounge, and then we'll have the deeper lessons. And so I think the next live that I'll do will be with one of our brothers named Source, who is a brother from Florida, who's also going to be down here and part of the squad. He has healed himself from cancer in 180 days using herbs,
Wow.
and you'll never guess where he found the herbs from. And so now he actually creates, and I've already gone through a bottle of his stuff. And I see also, brother, where I want to focus on, and I think will have a good benefit, is helping people post medicine ceremony, because as maybe you've been able to see, a lot of times people are overtaxing their chakras, their energy centers, and their body in a way, and not replenishing and expanding in a way, but also creating blockages at the same time. And so,
Yeah.
I want to maybe in the Obsidian Soul Lounge speak to some of that. We'll definitely have soul in there as well, source, excuse me, and of course soul. And then the opportunity is for people to be regenerated from the inside out, and then to augment and to and continue to stabilize and stand in a strong foundation of behaviors, information, of modalities, right? To add to their legacy and come back into the state that they were originally called to be in,
Yeah.
that we came in
Exactly.
as best as we can to live a real life here, a real fulfilled life.
Blessings, brother.
Blessings,
Blessings.
brother.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Yeah.
for your time, and thank you everybody who came on board. And stay tuned for more.
Stay tuned for more. As we are here,
See you later, brother. We'll see
see
you
you,
tomorrow,
brother.
huh?
I'll see you
Okay.
tomorrow. Aloha.
Okay.
Thank you, family, for
Aloha.
tuning in.
Ciao.
Peace. Ciao.